I couldn't believe what was happening. The most terrifying experience of my life. Hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel. Today, I will be reading from The stories are not mine. They are from people online. So, let's get started! No. Something was following us. My partner and I were driving home one evening around 7:30 p.m. when we decided to stop for gas at a fairly isolated gas station. As we approached the entrance, I noticed a man walking out from between the pumps with his hood up. I thought nothing of it! It was cold, and he was probably just trying to stay warm. When I got out of the car to pump our gas, I noticed he was watching me. It was kinda creepy, but I didn't think much of it and went about getting gas. When we got in the car and started driving away, I told my partner to slow down, because I wanted to turn into a nearby convenience store to use the restroom. But he kept going straight and didn't seem to want to stop. I asked him again to pull over, but he kept saying we don't need gas and just kept driving. At this point, I was really uncomfortable, but I had no idea why. He kept insisting that he didn't need gas and that we could make it home. But I insisted that I needed to go to the bathroom. Then I realized that the whole time we'd been driving, we'd never passed a single house or building. We were in the middle of nowhere. Then we came to a dirt road. He slowed down and asked if I wanted to stop and check it out. But I said no and insisted that we get home as quickly as possible. That is, when I saw the man from the gas station standing by his car on the side of the road, waving us down. I panicked. My partner slammed on the brakes and turned the car around. The man started running after us. We drove home in silence, both of us shaken by the odd behavior. The next day, I told my partner that I wanted to drive past that convenience store so I could see if it was still there. He agreed, and we set off. After about 20 minutes, we found it. The convenience store wasn't there. In its place was an abandoned gas station. I couldn't believe what was happening. The man who had been standing next to his car wasn't there either. I felt a shiver down my spine as I realized that I might have just escaped something truly terrifying. I've never been able to shake the feeling that I was being stalked by something evil. No matter how hard I try, I couldn't help but wonder if the man was trying to lead me to that abandoned gas station for some unknown purpose. It's been months since that terrifying incident, but I still get goosebumps when I think about it. I know that I was lucky to escape whatever it was that was following me. But I QA and help. I wonder what would have happened if I had even been able to outrun it. And I'm not the only one who has had this experience. There have been other reports of people being stalked by mysterious figures who seem to appear out of nowhere and vanish just as quickly. Some say that these encounters are simply the result of overactive imaginations, while others believe that there may be something more sinister at foot. What do you think? Have you ever experienced something similar? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this story, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Number 2. Not human. I was camping alone in the Beartooth Wilderness in the early 1980s. One night, I awoke in my tent to what sounded like screams in the forest. Big, guttural screams. Obviously, I was freaked out sitting in the tent, not knowing what was out there. Then I started hearing what sounded like hail for about 5 minutes, followed by heavy footsteps near my tent. I started yelling and making tons of noise, and the commotion outside the tent slowly came to a halt. Perhaps it was a bear. All around the tent were thousands of little pebbles that were not there the evening before. And surrounding the tent in a near-perfect circle were also 20 or so 50 to 100-pound boulders. Now, obviously, I know Pete out of there and have never been back. I am still creeped out thinking about it all these years later. What the hell was that? I have often wondered if it was some sort of bear, but I doubt it. If a bear can drag a 100-pound boulder 50 feet, then I don't want to meet it. It sounds like something straight out of a horror movie. Just the sound of heavy footsteps near your tent is enough to send shivers down my spine. And then, to wake up to the sight of thousands of pebbles and boulders surrounding your tent, it's just too creepy. I can't even imagine the fear and confusion you must have felt in that moment. But thankfully, you managed to escape unharmed. Sometimes it's best just to run away and not stick around to find out what's waiting on the other side of the tent. That experience would definitely leave any reasonable person noping out of there. It's not worth sticking around to find out what's lurking in the darkness. And now for number 3. But first, I want to give a big shout out to some supporters. Thanks so much for supporting this channel. If you want to see your name here, please consider supporting the channel. No. 3. A terrifying encounter on a dark road. One night, I was driving home from work on a dark, deserted road. It was so dark that I could barely see the road ahead of me. Suddenly, I saw a pair of headlights approaching me from the other direction. I pulled to the side of the road to let them pass, but their headlights never passed my car. Instead, they stopped right in front of my windshield. I rolled down my window and asked them if everything was okay. The driver didn't respond, but instead stared at me with an eerie smile. Then he did something that made my blood run cold. He opened the passenger door and gestured for me to look inside. I hesitated for a moment, but then I peered into the car and saw something that terrified me. There was no one in the passenger seat. But that wasn't the only thing that was off. The driver's face was pale and gaunt, and his eyes were wide and lifeless. It was like he was a zombie or some kind of vampire. Before I could react, the driver lurched forward and reached out to grab me. I screamed and slammed the car into reverse, backing up as fast as I could. I could hear the screech of tires as the car behind me turned and started following me. I didn't know what to do. Should I drive home, or should I keep driving away? I decided to keep driving until I saw a police car. Finally, I saw a police car in the distance, and I pulled over to flag them down. When the officer approached my car, I told him what had happened, but he didn't believe me. He thought I was making it all up. I was so frustrated, but I knew that he was right. There was no way that anyone would believe my story. To this day, I still don't know what that car or who was in it. But sometimes when I'm driving home late at night, I can't help but wonder if those headlights are following me. That was scary. I'm glad you managed to escape unharmed. It's not always easy to trust your gut, but in this case, it definitely saved your life. Thanks for listening. And if you like these stories, please subscribe and I'll see you next time. Bye.